and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how Manchester United could possibly line up next season. So in this video I'm going to be talking about 3 or 4 players that might come into Manchester United in the summer that we've been heavily linked with, the positions and players that might leave. So I'm taking into account the players that might leave the club and the players that might join the club and how we could potentially line up next season. So first things first, the players we've been most heavily linked to are right wing, a cam and a CDM. The right wing being Jadon Sancho, the cam being Jack Grealish or James Maddison, but I'm going to use Grealish because we've been linked to him a bit heavier. And then the CDM role, we've been linked to lots of players, as in Sumer, Bellingham's more a box-to-box midfielder, Tonali, Partey and Zakaria, but Zakaria is the most recent and the CDM that we are most heavily linked to. So I'm going to be talking about how Zakaria, Grealish and Sancho will fit in the Manchester United system next year, and the players that are most likely to leave are Lingard and Pogba, so I will not be including them in this video. So the first play that we could line up next season possibly is the 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder. But before I talk about that, please take 2 seconds to hit that like button and then subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football so don't miss daily football content from me, as there's no football on the TV, so if you want a bit of Man U and football related content, subscribe down below. So anyway, back into the video. The 4-3-3 with one holding midfielder. This is a way Man City sometimes play, with Rodri as the holding midfielder, then you've got David Silva and De Bruyne as number 8. Now Manchester United could do something very similar with Zakaria coming in as the holding midfielder, and obviously you've got McTominay and Matic as depth in that area, and then Grealish and Bruno just ahead playing as number 8s, and then the front three would be Rashford, Martial and Sancho. Now that looks like a very good team. Rashford, Martial, Sancho, Grealish and Bruno, and then Zakaria in the holding role, and obviously the solid back four. Yeah. Now, we actually played the 4-3-3 when Ollie first joined Manchester United, and it was a very attacking formation. We scored lots of goals, and it was very exciting to watch. So I very much enjoyed seeing the 4-3-3, and I'd like to see it again because this is a very attacking formation. Yes, we might concede more, but we'll score more. This is how Manchester City often play, and even if they don't win the title, Manchester City normally score the most goals in the league every year. And for me as a football fan, I want to be scoring the most goals. Obviously, we don't want to be conceding more, but like for me, if you want attacking football, the 4-3-3 is the way to play. Bruno played as a number 8 for Sporting as well, so it's actually where he's most familiar with playing. And number 8 is literally just sort of behind the cam role. And then I think Bruno and Grealish could have a good partnership. You could also put Fred in there for Grealish if you wanted to play a little bit of a more defensive 4-3-3. So when Ollie joined, it was Matic, Herrera, Pogba. So you know, Bruno would be in the Pogba role, Fred would be in Herrera role, and Zakaria would be in the Matic role with the front three ahead. And you've also got to remember that Grealish could play off the left, so if Rashford got an injury, you got Grealish, Martial, Sancho with the depth of obviously Greenwood, even a Garlo, because it wouldn't surprise me for Garlo, him on the permanent, and Daniel James. We could also line up in a very attacking 4-1-2-1-2 if we wanted to include all these players. We'd have Martial and Rashford as our split strikers, and in the cam role would be Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho for Dortmund has played centre forward, cam, left mid and right mid, and it's actually been effective on all positions. They can basically play anywhere across the front line, and he has played number 10 before, and he did play well for Dortmund in that position, so he would be our number 10. Again with Grealish and Bruno Fernandes as number 8, and then Zakaria as the holding midfielder below. This is a very attacking 4-3-3, so we'd probably not include Sancho, Grealish and Fernandes in the same formation if we did play this, maybe 2 of the 3, and we'll maybe put a Fred or McTominay in there just because to get a bit more defensive stability. Another formation you could include is the 4-2-4. Now, this again is just a very attacking formation. You'd have Grealish on the left, Rashford and Martial as your split strikers, and Sancho on the right. You could also have James and Greenwood as like depth in there, and then you'd have Bruno and Fred as your box-to-box midfielders, because Bruno is a very flexible player. He can play cam, CDM, right mid, centre forward, centre mid. He's best in the number 8, number 10 role, but you could play it as a box-to-box as well. But for me, there's a slight problem with these 3 players coming in. Is you don't really want to drop your Bruno Fernandes as your Rashford. So we've almost got too much depth, which is a very good position to be in, because obviously Manchester United this year have lacked depth. If Bruno got injured right now, we've got Lingard or Pereira to play in the role. With Rashford injured, it's sort of like James, Martial and Greenwood are our front three. And now they're all good players, but you know, they're very young, they're not quite up to the job yet. Well, Martial is, you know what I mean? We could actually, having 3 good players in Grealish, Sancho and Zakaria, actually allows us to rest players more, because we've had to play Fred every game because we've got no one else to play. It means we'll get less injuries, but if we do get injuries, we're not screwed, if you know what I mean. We could actually play the 4-2-3-1 system next season, the same system that we're playing now, but we'd have Bruno as our number 10 with Grealish as a backup. You'd have Rashford, Martial, Sancho, but you've got Grealish, James, Garlo, Greenwood as backup to the front three, and then the holding midfield role you can have Zakaria and Fred with McTominay and Matic as backup. So there's a backup for every position in midfield and attack, which is something that Manchester United need because we don't really have backup one, you know, for those kind of roles. But now we do, so then we can rotate players, we get less injuries. If we do get an injury, it's not as crucial to the season. And you've got to think Man City, they've got Mahrez as backup to Sterling. Well, actually, it's kind of the other way around this season. Sane as backup, Jesus as backup. And they seem to be fine. Obviously, this season, not so much. But I'm just using that as an example. The 4-2-3-1 we could still play. It's just that it's very unlikely that Grealish would get into it looking at our strongest squad. Because I do think Bruno Fernandes is a better cam than Grealish, and Rashford's better left wing than Grealish. But Grealish would be amazing off the bench, because if Bruno got injured, then it would go to Pereira and Lingard, and Grealish is a much stronger bench player option. Kind of like Man City have David Silva on the bench sometimes. We're actually quite suited well to play the 4-2-2 formation, so we'd have two holding CDMs, which could be again Zakaria and Fred, with backup being Matic and McTominay. Your cams, your left cam Grealish, your right cam Bruno Fernandes, and split strikers in Rashford and Martial. But Sancho could also fit into that. Yes, it's not a right mid and right wing position, but he could play as a cam or as a striker fitting into that formation. But for me, myself, I play the 4-3-3 with one holding midfielder, as I think it would suit Manchester United the most, and you could get all your new signings in and they'd all fit in. When Oli came, he did play the 4-3-3, although he did play a little bit more defensive 4-3-3. It was Matic, Herrera, Pogba. So you could almost have Zakaria where Matic is, Fred where Herrera is, Bruno where Pogba is. But for me, I play the 4-3-3, and I think this is how we could potentially line up next season. All he knows, the 4-3-3 worked very well for him when he played it when he first joined and got the job. We went on that big run with it. So it wouldn't surprise me if he wanted to switch to the 4-3-3 next season, because the players he's looking at kind of fit that, but they also do fit the 4-2-3-1 that he currently plays. Thank you for watching Alice Talks Football. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have not already, please hit that like button and then subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football, as it means a lot. I'm trying to post a lot lately as I've got a lot of spare time with this whole quarantine going on, and there's no football to report on, so like I'm a little bit short on video ideas, but I am trying to upload daily. So if you have any video suggestions, mostly Manchester United related, put them in the comment section down below. I might do a video on how Zakaria would fit into Manchester United if you want to learn more about that player. I've done an update on his transfer rumours, so make sure to go check that out. Thank you for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe. See you next time.